Intro to Chorus by Andrew Kapiros. Here's my social contract. Pretty much for the introduction, we are instructed for the year to have a PLTW capstone project, which is basically where you take your skills that you've learned through PLTW and your own personal experiences, and you're instructed to kind of solve a problem of your choosing. So we will be answering some guided questions that kind of lead us towards what we will be doing for the year. Question number one: what exactly is the problem that I wish to explore? I kind of started off with three problems: climate change, car waste emission, and tree carbon data. Here you can see kind of what that problem would entail. So for climate change, it would be rising temperatures. That's supposed to say temperatures, melting ice caps, rising sea levels, and then you can read the rest for these two. For tree carbon data collection, that's more of how you collect it, not so much of the problems that the carbon causes. Question number two: what evidence supports that this problem needs to be solved? For climate change related issues, obviously, climate change is rapidly kind of affecting our weather, our climate, our geographical kind of landscape. It's melting the ice caps, it's causing temperatures to reach all times highs, what seems to be every summer. So obviously that's something that rapidly needs to be addressed quickly. Car waste emissions, it's kind of similar to climate change, but in a different sense of cars. The waste that cars emit into the air cause pollution, which can cause global warming and similar effects to climate change. For tree carbon data collection, it's very important to know how the carbon that trees emit affect the area in which those trees are and how different trees can affect areas differently. So it's very important that we make this a simpler task so that we're not using up so much resources and people. Question number three: what are the current methods of or actions that are being used or have been developed to attempt to solve these problems? For climate change, there's stuff like renewable resources, which is like solar energy. There's carbon capture storage and AI and other technologies that are kind of emerging as time goes by, especially with AI now, that help change the space of climate change issues. Car waste emission, there's stuff like internal combustion energy, hybrid and electric vehicles, and alternative biofuels. Most of this has to deal with the engine itself in the car because that is what is burning the gas. And obviously, we've seen hybrid and electric vehicles work very well in stuff like Tesla's or other companies, whether it be like Honda or I think like Toyota. And for tree carbon data collection, there's multiple devices that you can really see. There's remote sensing technology, there's advanced AI, and there's also stuff that takes into data for analysis. There's like platforms for that, such as Globe Observer app. Question number four: what is my best idea for a solution to this problem? For climate change, I was kind of thinking something for improving recycling. So this could be like a process that recycles and turns that recycled material into something better, like all in one machine. For car waste emission, this would be like finding a new resource. So say maybe something like bamboo that can give enough fuel to power some sort of engine. For tree carbon data collection, this would be including all data collection materials and devices into one singular thing so that you wouldn't have to have all these different mechanics and gadgets. You could just have like one singular device that takes all the required measurements and such to collect the data needed. Question number 5, how can I create a tangible prototype for climate change? Using materials such as cardboard and plastic for a base model would be a good make a good representation of what this device would look like, and then later on I could use stuff like a 3D printer, or I could use stuff like metal if I really wanted to create something more lifelike, I guess you would call it. For car waste emission, in this part of the questioning, I was kind of like, it would be really hard to test how these fuel sources would work. I would have to basically make something like an engine that burns the fuel, and obviously that's not very realistic for the resources I have. For tree carbon data collection, simply just using the resources that I can find, such as cardboard or stuff. Mostly it's going to be coded. It's going to be some sort of platform that collects data, so I can just go out and collect like some random tree for data. Question number 6, what appropriate methods for testing my prototype can I create? For the climate change, I kind of said it would be really complicated to get data for the prototype in this manner. It would be really hard to test it, so I kind of said scrap the idea. And for tree carbon data, in my design, this invention will be able to determine things such as circumference and tree type, and also like tree height. So I can go out and find some random tree and test it, and I can compare it to other already known sources to see if my data is correct. Question number 7, how can I get real valuable data? I can basically just collect the data from different trees using my innovation and comparing it to other data collection platforms. Question number 8, if I cannot gather real data by experimental means, how can I justify the solution has merit? Creating better and faster technology for pretty much anything is a big help in that field. So just trying to do something like that, I feel, is a much need. Question number 9, how do I best present my entire idea to an audience and justify my actions? By constructing a product or prototype, which in this case would probably be both a platform as in an app and some sort of device that helps you take this data. I can use that along with a presentation style to show people exactly how this device works and what it does and why it's so important. And question number 9, how can I document my work so what I learned can be shared? Like I said, I can present it in a presentation style, and I can show the journals that show all my work over the time that I'm making this to truly communicate my idea. And to conclude, I basically decided that my problem would be the tree carbon emission. I think that problem would be very fun for me to solve, and I have a very good idea of how to solve it. Thank you for listening.